When it comes to crisis and specifically social media, internet, digital, or online reputational issues, not all crises are the same. But according to Nendo, and ahead of our Wednesday webinar on the 24th of September, we're breaking down our 3Cs framework. So if you haven't seen part one, please look on our socials to find that. And so that's where we've covered what we call the crisis of a colleague. But I want to take some time to take on the second part of our framework, and that really speaks to what we call the crisis of a business. And this for us has to do with two key parts. The first is what we call the internal part, which is not often again discussed, but is something that we observe in the work that we do between the research that we'll conduct and the marketing and communication support and consulting work that we'll do with clients. And so what this looks like is that internal communications is beginning to bubble and cause a crisis. And so what that can look like is it can look like a very beloved senior executive is transitioning out of the business, or a former employee has an issue in labor court, right? That is a bit more internal facing, or the company is announcing layoffs or some sort of restructuring. And so that can bring a crisis sometimes of confidence or in the reputation of the business. And there's ways in particular to try to handle these types of situations that are not obvious or not exactly as straightforward. And maybe the last one, which is one we see so much nowadays, is when an internal anonymous member of staff leaks sensitive internal information to a blogger or to a particular external source, right? A publication of some kind, and that brings reputational damage or it brings some issues. The second part of the crisis of a business is what we call the external communication side. And so this could be because of a negative mention in the mainstream media. It could be a social media interaction with a customer who went ignored or it went unseen, or that actual interaction went off the rails. It just didn't go as well, and potentially even got abusive or explosive. And what we're seeing as well as an emerging threat is that to do with scammers. But that's probably something we'll cover in more detail at the webinar. So please register using the link that you find below. But the thing with all of these is that what we sometimes see with the crisis of a business is that there's what we call these tactical reputational assaults on brands, on businesses, on nonprofits, on public and state entities. And these can be because of what we consider at Nendo to be larger hostile activism and discontent with institutions, or they are what some people would call keyboard warriors, or people who've been paid to actually malign or taint the reputation of the institutions. In both cases, there's a level of preparation required. And so if you join us at our webinar on the Wednesday, 24th of September, you'll be able to learn a bit more, and we'll be sharing our view of how you can move from crisis to what we call confidence. We'll be doing this from 1 to 2 p.m. on Wednesday, the 24th of September. And the link will be somewhere below this video or on our social media platforms for you to sign up and actually register your interest. And even if you can't make it, we'll be happy to send you the recording and the slides and keep in touch with you that way. Thank you.